And now we get set for the heavyweights, and we're going to see the heavyweights a couple of times tonight. This, a V3Fights amateur heavyweight division battle between this guy, Trevor Blakney, and Bryan the Butcher Westmoreland. Blakney from Corinth, Mississippi, an independent fighter, self-taught. He's a military veteran. I think he did a lot of his fighting in the military. You're a military guy. Chris Davis and Corbin Wallace will be in his corner, but this guy doesn't really have a coach per se.
One of his partners was someone he deployed with, one of his corners. He's a U.S. Army combatives instructor, so he's got a lot of experience with that. We had him come in and he fought T. Cummins his first fight. T had 3 fights under his belt, so he doesn't care. He wants to get in there and rumble. His wife is about to have a baby, so he said, I've got to get in there now before she does.
Both these fighters looking for their first victory, each one coming in at 0-1. There's Eric McMahon with some final instructions for Blakney. Tipped the scales officially last night at 256. He's only going to be giving up 3 pounds to the Butcher, but he's going to be giving up 6 inches. In fact, a little bit more than that, because here's a big dude coming in. Bryan the Butcher Westmoreland from Sarah, Mississippi, and the Brawler's Den. As we look at Blakney, he awaits his opponent. Coached by Ricky Pike and Jeff Denton. Will be cornered by Jeff Denton Jr. and Ricky Pike. We talked a lot about the Brawler's Den and the Dentons over the years.
We haven't seen Westmoreland. Westmoreland actually fought one of the guys on the Brawler's Den. They were so impressed with him, they said, you know what, come train with us. We'd love to make you a part of the team. And he did. They said he's a hard-working kid. He's excited to be on the card, and I'm really interested in this fight.
KO power in each hand. He also has been working on his ground game as we take a look at the tail of the tape. Blakney 30 and Westmoreland 19. So Blakney 11 years the senior of Westmoreland. And you see Westmoreland with the height advantage at 6'4". They both have 70-inch reaches though. Blakney an MMA fighter. Westmoreland, he'd rather have this thing stand up and box his way to a victory. He is a asphalt plant man by trade. So this is a guy that likes to get his hands dirty, working for Lehman Roberts, and there he is, Bryan the Butcher Westmoreland making his V3Fights debut, and once again Eric McMahon over to talk to the Butcher. It's Blakney and Westmoreland, V3Fights heavyweight division battle. Let's get the official introduction of the two fighters with Michael Kelly.
V3 Legion. This bout is brought to you by Fireball Whiskey and it's set for 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the black trunks with the camo trim at 5 feet 8 inches. He weighed in at 256 pounds. An all-around fighter, independently fighting out of Corinth, Mississippi, Trevor Blakney. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the orange corner. He wears the black trunks with the golden red trim at 6 feet 4 inches. He weighed in at 258.7 pounds. A boxer representing the Brawler's Den and fighting out of Jackson, Tennessee, Bryan the Butcher Westmoreland.
All right, partner, thoughts on this one?
Your guess is as good as mine as this one. You know, 19-year-old kid versus an Army combat vet. It's going to be exciting.
3-minute rounds. V3Fights amateur heavyweight division. Eric McMahon, third man inside the cage. Our second of 9 fights tonight. Round 1. Here we go on V3Fights right here on Flow Combat.
I will make the prediction this one doesn't go to the judges. I think Trevor's going to look to throw a couple punches, get in his face, and take Westmoreland down.
And on the flip side, Westmoreland would love to just stand and duke it out. There you go, right off the bat. Blakney's trying to take him down. Instead, he misses on the attempt, and you have Westmoreland. And I mentioned he's been really working harder on his ground game. Blakney gives up his back now. He's up to one knee, trying to hold Westmoreland at bay. Two really strong guys. Westmoreland able to connect a couple of times. And he gives up his back now, Blakney. He grabs one of the fists, but not the second. Westmoreland really not getting any kind of defense from Blakney. He's just wailing away.
you know, Westmoreland needs to put some pressure on Blakney, but
And he
gets the
calls it.
stoppage.
Eric calls the fight as Blakney, he may have been turtling up, but when you're not showing any resistance, what can a referee do? He may have been for the moment trying to let Westmoreland tire himself out. A lot of those punches were off the mark. But again, you're a referee, and safety is first, as we see some of the replay from the first round, but it really wasn't much to show.
Trevor was not intelligently defending himself. He made no attempt. Should have gone down to his back and tried to get him into a guard. He didn't do that. He has to get the fight stopped.
He tried for the initial takedown, and he came up short trying to get to Westmoreland, and Westmoreland then just had total control of the fight. And he gets the victory to even his record at 1-1. Meanwhile, Trevor Blakney, the 30-year-old military vet, falls to 0-2. Let's get the official time of the first round. You're absolutely right. It did not go to the judges' scorecards. Here's Michael Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in the V3 cage, we present the official time of 1 minute, 5 seconds in round number 1. Referee Eric McMahon calls a halt to the bout due to strikes, declaring your winner by TKO victory, Bryan the Butcher Westmoreland.
All right, Westmoreland, his first win comes in 1 minute and 5 seconds. I don't know how many of the punches connected, but again, he's a big guy. There you see one to the head, and then all of a sudden the cover-up. Really no resistance from Blakney.
None at all. Westmoreland was just able to stand over him and throw punches as he wanted. It's not intelligently defending yourself, and Eric McMahon was forced to stop the fight when he turtled up there.
Yeah, and you saw right there that hammer fist to the back of the head, and that's when Eric said, no, I'm not going to allow that to happen. And there's the hands held high by the Butcher, Bryan Westmoreland. Next, a middleweight division battle. So keep it right here on V3 Fights.